There's no reason to play Rampage if you have this. Because on this, you feel like, I have the power! And Rampage is kind of like, I have the power, but only sometimes when I put the Thermite in, you know? Yo, what's up YouTube? This is an Apex Season 13 tier list for weapons that are currently in the game. I made this on stream. There was a little bit of audio missing from the 30-30 marksman placement. I put it in C because I feel like most guns will do its job, but kind of better, and it's usually not a gun that you want to have in late game situations. It's a pretty good farmer gun, and in hindsight, I should probably have bumped it up to B tier, and putting in C tier kind of made a bunch of people a little bit mad. I still think it's a pretty good farmer gun. It's not something I typically would be, I wouldn't be one of using it in a late game situation, but it's still a really, really good farmer gun. Alternator, I feel like it's a really strong early game gun. Good strafing speed, good fire rate, it's accurate, it's easy to use, it's good on mouse key and controller. Put it on at least B tier, B or A, no, B tier, because you wanna switch it out later on. Usually you don't want to play it for late games because it usually falls off a little bit. So B tier, oh yeah, B plus. Bow check, unless you are Mandy, I feel like bow check is either B, well, it's B or A. It's pretty consistent. It's not that difficult to use. Has good damage. It's kind of like a Wingman, but almost hit scan. Mandy and Mozambique. Yeah, I'd probably I'll take it over Alternator, because this is actually a weapon you might use in some end games, simply for the fact that it's so good at poking. It's so good at poking, yeah. You'll get a lot of knocks with it. Like people don't expect to get headshotted by a bow twice. That's just the way it is. Charge rifle, I got a particular love for. This gun is just so strong on Storm Point as well. It is just ridiculous. Like, you can hold out, like, you single-handedly hold out a team of 3 just sitting there with a charge rifle and a bunch of ammo. Yeah, you get insta red for your whole team pretty much. You can farm a 1500 damage with it in no time, no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on S tier as well. It's definitely an S tier weapon. It's so strong, especially for Storm Point. Put it up there. Car, best SMG in the game. It's a good gun both on controller and mouse and key, but especially on controller, it is the strongest weapon up close. It's hold your bumper down, or not the bumper. What was it called? The trigger down. Aim in. Sometimes you don't even have to aim because the hip fire is so strong. It just beams people. Car is the strongest SMG in the game. Then Kraber, guys, I don't really think there's any discussion. S tier still, even after a slight nerf, it's still the most broken weapon in the game. Havoc, slightly reduced recoil pattern in this season. Turbocharger added. Really strong gun, end game gun, middle game gun, early game gun. Overall, really good. I would definitely put it, like, for what it is with turbocharger. It's stronger than Devotion now. It's stronger than Devotion for sure. I would put it on S tier. Devotion, I would put in probably B tier right now. I don't know. You can still beam people. Absolutely, turbocharged Devotion, but it's kind of a hit or miss because your strafing speed is so slow on it. It definitely needs a turbocharger. It has very little value without the turbocharger. It needs to be in someone's face then. Like, overall, like, I would still take a Havoc without a turbo over a Devotion without a turbo any day of the week. I'd probably put it in B. Even with turbocharger, I'd still only think we slightly get up in A. It still uses more ammo than Havoc while being more inaccurate and lower average damage. So I'll probably put it in B, yeah. The EVA 8 is somehow a gold gun this season. If you like EVA 8, I'm sorry. I'm just putting it here. And one of the reasons why I'm putting it here is because I would literally play Mozambique over EVA 8 right now. Mozambique and PK both got 20% more limp damage in this patch, in Season 13 patch. They got from 0.8 to 1.0, both of these guns. EVA 8 remains unchanged, but somehow has a gold version of itself. Not saying you can't get kills with it, but it is not as strong as PK right now, and it's not even as strong as Mozambique. I'll put it there. Let's talk about Flatline. Flatline is now ground loot, but I still feel like it's not the in-game gun you usually want to have, even though it's really strong. I would probably put it in A tier and not S tier, because I think to myself a lot of times, if I'm going into in-game and I'm gonna have a flatline, that I would rather have another gun. I would rather be having another gun than the flatline. I'd rather have a turbocharged Havoc. I'd rather have an R31 probably in-game. So I'll probably put it in A tier, but it's definitely still good. G7 Scout. Yeah, I still like the Scout. They did make it a little bit better by making the double tap on it better and like more accurate. I would probably... Oh no, it's not S tier. It's not S tier. It's just not S tier. The ammo on you don't have enough ammo for like, first of all, it's like kind of a poker weapon. Occasionally you'll get some like couple of headshots. Sometimes you get like 4 headshots in a row with it. I'll probably put it... I would either put it in high B or low A if I had to. High B, low A, but I'll probably put it in A. Man, remember when its rate of fire was just so much higher? It was literally such a good gun. I'm putting it in A. Like, I would probably put it in the same category as a Bocek anyway. Bocek Scout, yeah, same. Hemlock, I feel like is underrated a little bit, but I would still play Flatline over Hemlock, because the Flatline has a better hip fire than the Hemlock. And you always seem to hit some really nice sprays with Hemlock, but it's just not quite enough. Like, you're either missing 3 bullets or something. Like, you hit it, oh my god, I hit it for 160. And then he's around the corner and you're like, oh. And then you hit it, I'm like, oh my god, I hit this guy for 160. And then he's around the corner and you're like, oh. And you don't really want to push in there using it with hip fire. You just don't. It's not a... Like, you want to get in there and like spam ADS. You know, spam ADS. Get out of hip fire. Spam ADS. For me, it's not A. It's not S. It's definitely B. Any of these guns are A tier S tier if you hit your shots. This is just not how it works. Mastiff is S tier, period. Even though it's 4 shots, the maximum damage you could do with it, if you hit all pellets and all headshots, is now 144. I mean, you hit a body shot now, it's like 100 damage. But body shot, because it doesn't have that high of a multiplier on headies anyway, it's like 100 damage on the body shot. So it's S tier. Same with Bolt, guys. Strongest, I mean, apart from the car, it is the strongest along with the car, it's the strongest SMG in the game. It is so good on controller. Like, some people pick up car and Volt at the same time just to be a little bit cheeky, you know? L-Star is just not... it has had its time. It's had its time. I don't play it for any other reason than early game. I don't play it for any other reason than early game. Even though it can still frag out, it's definitely better than EVA 8. I feel like it's also better than 3030. But it has had its time. The reason why L-Star was so good back then is because the projectile sizes were so enormous, and also because it had such high average damage and it just would never go on cooldown. I would play, I don't know about Devotion and L-Star. I feel like they kind of come close, but then you have the added turbocharger. I would still put it in the C tier. Let's move on to Longbow. Between playing Charge Rifle and Longbow, it's just night and day. Charge Rifle is like the most effortless gun. It's the most effortless gun ever. Longbow actually takes an effort. You actually have to lead bullets. It's annoying. You can sometimes hit some headies. I don't find myself picking up the Longbow very much, and I don't see people playing it very much. But I would still play it over even though Sentinel is kind of like call it a pup gun. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes you can pick it up in competitive and do some wicked shit with it too. I'll probably put it in B. Sentinel, take the Sentinel at the same time. I don't feel like C tier is the tier for Sentinel. I feel like it's better than that, so I'd probably put it in B as well. I wouldn't rate it as high as the Longbow, because Longbow is easier to play, but it still has really high value plays. Like, you can make some really nice play, like hit a headshot with it, a charged headshot. It can change the course in a game easily. PK, I would put in S tier gun. It even got buffed to season 13. It did not need a buff, but it did get a buff. Mozambique. I feel like we're obviously not A tier. We're obviously not in A tier. I don't feel like we're in C tier. I feel like we're in B tier, honestly. And I say that with hammer points in mind. I say that with hammer points in mind. It's a really strong gun. It's still underplayed just for the fact that it's Mozambique and it has like this, like you can pump out a lot of bullets with it in like a short time, and like absolutely you can like kill someone and then like, wow, I just died to a Mozambique. Also, like it's just in a weird space. You ever hits like someone for 165 of it in like a burst, or 200, or you hit someone for like 60 or 40, and then you just feel like, oh wow, I wasted my time. And now what is my secondary? While the PK, you know, you hit someone with PK, usually the shots will usually align a lot more. But I'll probably put it in B. Yeah, I'll probably put it in B2. Prowler, I still feel like the Prowler is strong. I don't think it is as strong as Car, Volt, and so forth. A lot of times I'm picking up Prowler instead of picking up a Flatline. Yeah, but like even on roller or mouse and key, it's also strong on mouse and key. I would probably put in an A tier still. I'm probably gonna get some flake for saying Prowler is A tier, but I think it is. Why is Prowler stronger than Hemlock? Better hip fire, faster strafing speed, same amount of damage, basically. Same if not higher amount of damage actually, because it has a higher rate of fire. And like on range, I don't know if you've seen me use the Bruiser sight on the Prowler, but I can use this gun as a sniper rifle a lot of times because it's the projectile is so predictable on it. Let's put it here. R301. I would rather have an R301 in an endgame, even though you kind of seem to ask about light ammo quite a lot. Who has light ammo? Who has light ammo? Drop me light ammo. Who has more? Who has more light ammo? I'll probably still put it in S tier. Hemlock over R301, this man just said. First time chatter. This guy came out of the woodworks to write his first message in chat today, and his first message that he chose was that Hemlock is better than R301. Okay. I don't agree. I don't agree. Let's talk about R9. R9, I'll put it in the same category as a good old Flatline here. I would sometimes play Prowler over Flatline. A lot of times, actually. I'll play Prowler over Flatline. Sorry, Prowler over R9 as well. But R9 is still like a good weapon to have in late game. But you wouldn't pick R9. You wouldn't pick R9 over Volt. You would, and I would always pick up Car over R9 because Car, you can take both ammos, but it has higher times to kill close up. The only good thing about R9 over Car is that the bullet travel time is higher on the R9 versus the Car. The Car is using heavy bullets and like heavy travel time bullets, while the R9 is using light, and light is not as fast as energy bullets, but it's faster than heavy bullets. That's like the only thing that is better about using R9 over Car, but I'll still pick Car over R9. So yeah. Guys, how many times have you seen someone craft a rampage this season? How many times have you seen someone try to craft that? I have not seen a single rampage in these. Well, how long is this season been out? 3 days? Not even once. But it's obviously it's not a bad weapon. It's still better than EVA 8. It's still better than probably L-Star 3030. I think we're just gonna have to add another tier. I have not seen a single person play this gun. I'm just gonna put it there. I've not seen anyone play it. So that's where we're putting it. Let's talk about Re45 real quick. Let's talk about Re45 real quick. Like, even with hammer points, I would not put it in A and S tier for the reason that its average damage is just still on par or lower than some of the S tier guns. With hammer points, they can kind of slap sometimes, but overall, I feel like because you're not gonna like, oh man, I just cracked him with my R31. Now I'm switching to my Re45 to finish him off. No, you'd probably still run the R31 because it's doing almost the same amount of damage. It's doing almost the same amount of damage. So I'll probably still put it here. Yeah, I'll probably still B tier, C tier, B tier, C tier. I know it's not. I know I don't really judge it like this. I don't really rank them in the individual tiers. I don't want it, and it's too hard to find hammer points usually. Is it better than P20 with hammer points though? I don't think so in general. I think P20 hammer points slaps more than V45 hammer points. I would probably put both V45 and P20 in C tier and just keep it fair. Keep it fair, even though there's just not that many people using them. It's too hard to find hammer points, and it's difficult to have a gun which only purpose is flesh damage, because you don't know if someone is flesh or has shield a lot of times. You can literally lose your trade just because you thought they had flesh and oh, they happen to have armor. Or maybe let's say you down someone that was flesh and then his teammate comes along and he has a shotgun and he has armor, and then you have a P20 and you're like, oh fuck, I guess I'll just die. Spitfire. Okay, I don't know why we got it on ground loot again, because obviously it's still strong, but it's almost like, even though they nerfed the handling speed on it, plus they gave it 1 less damage coming from that the cat packers into ground loot, they kind of made it bigger. They made it better by giving you the chance to pick up more ammunition for it. Like, you have endless amount of ammunition, just spamming it right away. The time to kill is slightly lower, but that 1 damage doesn't play a huge role. The hip fire on it is still kind of busted. If you're up close, you know, you just don't lose out. It's like the Rampage, but just stronger. It's a stronger Rampage. There's no reason to play Rampage if you have this. Because on this, you feel like, I have the power! And Rampage is kind of like, I have the power, but only sometimes when I put the Thermite in, you know? Or if it's early game. Yeah, and the barrel removed, it didn't do a single difference for the gun. The gun is still absolutely busted when it comes to accuracy. You'll hit almost every bullet. Let's talk about the Wingman real quick. Wingman has no business of being just this good. Wingman is the best economy gun in the game with the highest like potential to outplay someone as well. It's still so busted. It definitely deserves to be S tier. The Wingy is the most balanced gun in the game. No. It's absolutely not balanced. It's busted. It's the best economy gun with the highest like kill like playmaking potential, except like let's say Kraber or maybe Volt in the game, or PK. It is so strong. It's so strong. It's so easy to play. The strafing speed is the highest you can have. It's definitely it's the best gun for what it is. You find a Wingy in a game, you're like, oh well, I'm set. You need a lot of skill with the Wingman. Let me show you something. When I have the power of my controller and aim assist in my hands, I don't need anything else, man. Last gun, I was about to say, but not least. But I don't feel the same way with the triple take after they nerfed it. I would put it in the same tier as Longbow and Sentinel. It's still a good economy gun. You have potential of hitting some really high damage shots that can like turn a fight. Like, what is it, 129 it can hit if it all headshots? Or is it 121? Yeah, I wouldn't. I'll put it in the same category on Longbow as Sentinel and Mozambique. I don't think it's C tier. I'll definitely pay triple take over 30-30. Guys, this is my tier list for season 13 of the guns. The guns in season 13. And you can either choose to think that, wow, this is a decent take. This is decent. I kind of agree, or you can have the take, and I don't mind that. Wow, this Dolphin guy, he is smoking the good stuff.